The message came at 6:17 a.m. "I'm outside. Please, I just need to talk." Her name lit up my phone like a reminder I didn't ask for. My stomach didn't twist, didn't burn. I had passed that stage weeks ago. Instead, it was a strange calm, the kind of stillness you feel in the air before a storm finally breaks. I glanced at the clock. My office wasn't supposed to open until 8. She had driven all the way here, uninvited, unannounced. Desperation, thinly veiled as remorse. I didn't move. Just let her sit there in her car, waiting, no idea that everything she thought she knew had already shifted. Her last memory of me was as the man she mocked, the cubicle husband, the one she displayed like an ornament she secretly despised. And now she was at my door, too late, begging an audience with someone who didn't exist anymore. I leaned back in the leather chair of my new office. High floor, glass walls, a view of a city she had no idea I now lived in. Promotion, transfer, a life rebuilt, silent and sharp, without her. Her reflection pressed against the glass door when she finally dared to step inside. She thought she had come to apologize. She thought I was still hers to humiliate or forgive. She was wrong. It started 3 weeks ago. She had invited me to one of her little gatherings, expensive wine, shallow laughter, the sort of performance people put on when they're terrified of being seen as ordinary. I usually stayed quiet, invisible in the corner. That night, though, her friends turned their eyes to me. "So, what do you do?" one asked. Her smirk was immediate, calculated. "Oh, he just works in a pathetic cubicle all day. Nothing exciting." Laughter, sharp and careless. I didn't move, didn't defend myself. My glass didn't even tremble in my hand. I played along, nodding as though her cruelty was harmless banter. But I watched her face, the way her eyes sparkled at their approval, how she leaned into the ridicule as though it tasted sweet. That was the moment. The cut wasn't deep, but it was precise. She didn't mock my job, she mocked me, my existence, my worth. And in front of strangers, she chose validation over loyalty. I smiled back, pretended it didn't matter. But inside, something shifted. And I knew then I would not confront her. Not yet. I would let her believe I was still the man in the cubicle, small and harmless. Meanwhile, I began to prepare. The truth of our marriage had been unraveling quietly for months, but now I let myself look at it without flinching. The late nights, the secretive texts, the way she came home smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. I began collecting without ever letting her notice. Bank statements, phone records, little pieces that, on their own, seemed ordinary. Together, they formed something undeniable. It wasn't just that she mocked me. She had been living a double life. A man from her glittering circle, wealthy, empty, the kind of man she had always wanted to marry, but had settled for less when she chose me. I kept calm. I kissed her goodnight. I let her think she was clever. But each time she laughed at me, each time her phone buzzed in another room, I felt the distance between us stretch wider, colder. And in that cold space, my resolve hardened. When the promotion offer came, a transfer across the country, I didn't hesitate. I didn't tell her. I accepted. Packed my life into silence and shadows. Arranged everything behind closed doors. She thought she still had me. She thought I was still trapped in the cubicle. But I was already gone. The evidence arrived in an envelope. Hotel receipts, photographs, proof of her affair compiled neatly by the investigator I had hired. I left it on the kitchen counter one morning, face down, as though I had forgotten it there. When she found it, I didn't speak. I only watched as her hands shook, as her lips parted, searching for words. It's not what you think," she whispered, voice breaking. But it was exactly what I thought. Exactly what I had known. I didn't raise my voice, didn't accuse. I simply asked one question, my tone steady, almost casual. "How long?" Her eyes fell, and in that silence, The truth was complete. I didn't need her answer. Which brings us back to this morning, her knocking on my office door, her trembling voice outside. She thought she had wounded me, and maybe once she had. But wounds heal into scars, and scars become armor. I buzzed the door open. She stepped in, scanning the room, the polished desk, the view, the nameplate with a title she never believed I would hold. Confusion painted her face, followed quickly by dread. "You moved?" her voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me?" I set down my pen, looked at her like she was nothing more than an intruder in a place she didn't belong. "I did tell you," I said calmly. "You just weren't listening." Her mouth opened, closed. She wanted to cry, to beg, to explain. But the walls of this office, this life, didn't belong to her. I stood, buttoned my jacket, and walked past her toward the door. "You mocked the man in the cubicle," I said without turning, "but he doesn't exist anymore." The door clicked shut behind me. I didn't look back, not once. The city stretched before me, new, sharp, endless. A life without her. A life where her laughter no longer had weight. She had built her identity on appearances, on status, on tearing me down to lift herself higher. And now she was left with the ruins. I felt nothing. No rage, no grief, just clarity. For years she thought I was beneath her, a man in a cubicle, small and forgettable. But the truth is simple. She never saw me at all. And now she never will.